Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why we do what we do here at the AFC podcast by advocating for children first is because I felt like there wasn't enough attention in the media being dedicated to the children who can't speak for themselves nor defend themselves against the tyranny of their caretakers. And it just seemed like an overall lack of just ignoring a lot of stories. So instead of me either pushing somebody else or pushing some other media source to highlight those stories, I just decided to do it myself. I didn't know if I was ever going to get anybody to watch it all, but I'm thankful to have such an amazing audience. Y'all see the people in there typing in where they're from, where they're listening from, representing their cities and states. Because this thing affects us all, especially here in the United States. I know people around the country and around the world have things that they're going through as well. We've done stories outside of the United States. But I'm going to tell you, the most small, defenseless of us are our babies. And in this case, these were newborn babies. Y'all look at these twin babies. That's not one baby with two different pictures. That is actually two humans. Two individuals. I said two humans because apparently the woman that y'all see on my screen didn't understand that these were human beings and how you're supposed to raise children. And I'm going to tell y'all this. One thing that really bugs the crap out of me about this story is this. How people continue to use these babies for the benefits that they can collect off of these kids. And we call that hashtag babies for benefits. Because the way that they treat them, it seems like that's the only reason they had these kids, right? This mother, let me go back to that picture. This mother is sitting here taking these cutesy looking pictures. These babies need a lot of love, a lot of care, and a lot of attention. Said, I will love you forever. That's what the caption says. I'll love you forever. And I'm going to tell you, if this is love, then I don't want it. Okay? Because what she did to these twin babies, I'm telling you, might turn some of your stomachs. But I think we owe it to the honor of these babies to at least listen to their story. Okay? This New York mother was led from a Queens police precinct after being charged with stabbing her 6-week-old twins to death. 6 weeks. Not 6 years old. Not 6 months old. 6 weeks. Not even 2 months. Let's go back. Let me show y'all these twin babies right here. Beautiful little kids. As a matter of fact, I think I have their name. Let me see if I can get their name back up here. Y'all give me a moment. The twins' names are Dallas and Dakota. Dallas and Dakota, spelled traditionally. That's Dallas and Dakota. So, let me see. Dallas is the boy, which is on the right-hand side, and Dakota is the girl who was in the pink. The mother, who's being arrested right there, her name is Denasia. These names, these hood-ass, unique names. Denasia Kilpatrick, who was 23 years old. 23 years old. And let me tell you guys this, and let me forewarn you. For those who might say, oh, well, she's young. She was going through postpartum. Well, I'm going to tell you guys, one thing that we don't believe in here at the AFC is we don't believe in giving adults, grown people, excuses for murdering children. Not now, not ever. Not mental illness, not your mental state, not your age, no reason at all. Otherwise, you should have never have had custody if your mentality was compromised. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. People talk about, yeah, mental illness is a real thing. Well, yeah, maybe it is a real thing. You either get help for it, but if your mental illness or your disability presents a danger to children, it's one thing if you're working it out, but if you can't work it out, then you shouldn't be a parent. Is that clear? I've said that probably about 100 times on this channel, and people still like, well, I don't really understand what you mean, Just Jay. Well, I have issues. Whew. Maybe I need to work on my communication skills, or maybe I need to write a script. I don't know. But I think what I say is pretty clear. Maybe it's not. I don't know. That woman is 23 years old, and I promise y'all, I could not find a better picture of her. There was this, and then her laying down with the twins. That's all I could find. I couldn't find a picture of her face. She's in a hazmat suit and a blue surgical face mask, and she was taken out of NYPD's 114th precinct in Astoria, New York on Friday night. The mother could be seen giving a wide-eyed stare. Let me see if I can find that picture. Not that one. Right there. Them big old bug eyes. The mother was given a wide-eyed stare to the cameras as she was taken to jail, less than 24 hours after killing her son, Dakota. And this baby was found with a knife sticking out of his head, and daughter Dallas. Sheesh. There's nothing those babies could have ever done, not in this life, not in the next life, to deserve that. This woman is just a demon. She is a horrible person. She is a demon. It also makes me wonder a couple of other things. She just had these kids. They're only 6 weeks old. Where in the hell is the biological father? And I'm going to tell you guys something, because my patience is starting to get really short with a lot of these stories. And you know how they say pressure bust pipes? Well, Just Jay is about to explode here one of these days here pretty soon. And hopefully I don't make a fool out of myself on the internet. But I'm going to tell y'all, it looks really weird for women to say that these men don't want to be in their kids' life and they always run off and they don't want to man up to their responsibilities. And you've known this for the past 3 generations. You've had 3 generations that you've heard these people say these things. But yet, I guess you acknowledge it when it matters, when you want to make somebody look bad. But when it comes to making a logical decision not to lay down and have babies with a man who is not your husband, he has made no commitment to you. And people will say, well, the marriage divorce rate is really high. Well, guess what? The failure rate of single parents is also pretty goddamn high. How about that? You talk about the failure rate of marriages, which stand a much better chance of the nuclear family, like I talk about. Y'all have heard that term, nuclear family. Yes. Mother and father under the same roof, raising the children. They've at least made a legal commitment in front of God and in front of family and friends and the pastor and the state, if you get married, that you're going to make a commitment to that person. But what are we doing? We're settling for a hell of a lot less and saying, you know what? Maybe that won't work out, so we'll just take the lesser of the two, which has an even lesser probability of working. How does that make any sense? She's 23 years old. She grown. Can y'all say that in the chat? She grown. Don't feel sorry for her. She grown. They only want to be grown when they want to be grown. Then when they don't want to accept any responsibility, then all of a sudden, oh, they're 23. Oz didn't know no better. Oz was 23. Oz was young and dumb. Huh. It's funny, I've never been given an excuse of being young. Not when I was 15, 16, 17, 18, or 23. When I was 20, I had my daughter at 24. I wasn't given the excuse that I was young, but then again, I chose to be a man and chose to be a father and chose to bring my daughter into this world and chose to be a good father. Let's move on past that. Let's Move on past that. I'm sorry. I'm just getting worked up behind this story, okay? Police first found the infant boy, Dakota, the little boy, inside a bedroom crib at the mom's home in Woodside, Queens, where the knife blade still is inside his skull, inside his head. When asked about the second child, the mother indicated that the girl, Dallas, was under the sink, S-I-N-K, under the sink, which is where police found her wrapped in a pink blanket. And I don't know if they mention it in this particular article, but I actually heard that the mother had actually burned one of the twins with scalding hot water and stabbed the other one. So it sounded like she burned the shit out of the girl and stabbed the boy. The mother has been charged with 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of acting in manner injurious to a child, and 1 count of criminal possession of a weapon. Pictures of the 2 babies have since emerged on social media because her sister posted the picture, if I'm not mistaken. So the sister posted a picture of the babies where they were born in March with the caption, "Huge congratulations to my sister." Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that caption real quick. Right here. "Huge congratulations to my sister Denasia on her newborn twins, Dallas and Dakota Kilpatrick. I'm so happy for her." Do y'all notice anything wrong with that statement? And if you guys are listening, do me a favor. I know we're live right now. Let me say hello. Sherry Berry, I just seen you in there. If y'all would, do me a favor. Show these babies some love. Give them like a virtual hug and click that thumbs up. And help share this stream if y'all would, please. Make sure y'all click that thumbs up. I'm curious if y'all noticed something off about what she said. She's happy for who? Did anybody notice? The sister is happy for who? It sounds like this mom had these kids by herself. And for the life of me, I don't understand how we continue to keep going down this path of just fatherless homes. That's ridiculous. And apparently we don't have enough shame to stop ourselves from continuing to keep having unprotected sex. That goes on the mother and father's side. Come on, man. We got to do better than that. That looks tacky as hell. Anyway, a relative had requested a wellness check. So somebody realized something was wrong and they requested a wellness check to the New York City Housing Authority, the NYCHA, building in Woodside after the 23-year-old mother gave evasive answers when asked about the whereabouts of her babies, according to a police source. So sources said that the mother appeared agitated when police arrived to the scene. "I do not want them." This is what she said. She said, and I quote, "I do not want them." She told the officers arriving, according to the news, she said, "I can't take it anymore." An EMS paramedic pronounced both. Oh, they wrote that wrong. I think that's a typo. An EMS paramedic pronounced both the boy and girl dead. Police recovered the knife at the scene and brought the mother in for questioning. The Administration for Children's Services is also investigating the death of the twins. Neighbors said the woman had just moved into the apartment last month, so she moved into the housing authority. That's low-income housing, usually if you don't have a job or a way to be able to provide for yourself, right? So not only are we going to be broke, we're going to be out here recklessly having sex and bringing kids into this world when we already couldn't afford to keep a roof over our own heads, which is why we call this Babies for Benefits. Because guess what she wouldn't have if not for those kids? Uh-oh. Somebody gonna flag either channel? Does somebody want to get in their feelings tonight and tell me how I'm wrong for what I just said? Just tell me if I'm saying something that's not accurate. That sounds exactly like babies for benefits. Because if she didn't have these twin babies, she wouldn't have a roof over her head. Nobody be feeling sorry for her as a 23-year-old grown-ass adult who don't have a job, not working, and not able to provide for herself. But it's funny how those kids gave her a roof over her head, clothes on her back, electricity in her apartment, food and shelter. Isn't that something? Before these children even understand what's even going on, this mother is already using them. Don't y'all think that's a little bit sick? They said she just moved into this apartment. They said, I'm so sad and I'm shook and heartbroken. A neighbor said she hadn't seen or heard anything since she considered suspicious. But I got a lot more to say. But before I go into my rant, let me give you guys the fair usage. Let me let you hear the news videos. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. All right, let's get it. Real quick, let me give a shout out to Illicit Deeds. I see you in the building. And Illicit Deeds, you can check out Illicit Deeds on Facebook and illicitdeeds.com for stories similar to this and a lot more. Like Illicit Deeds puts up so many stories, it's hard to keep up with, but it's a great page to be able to kind of keep up with a lot of the things that's going on in the news. So check out Illicit Deeds. Here are the videos. Let's get it.
A Queens mother remains in police custody today after police found her infant twins dead inside their apartment. CBS News' Andrea Grimes is live in a story with the very latest on this. Andrea.
Well, Mary, neighbors say this story is beyond heartbreaking. The NYPD crime scene unit and other detectives are on the scene right now trying to collect evidence and get to the bottom of what exactly happened to these little babies. This morning, a lone candle burned outside the Woodside houses where police...
Sorry, I just had to make sure y'all could hear it, so I listened to it on my phone to make sure y'all can hear.
Police say 46-day-old twins, Dakota and Dallas Bentley, were found dead in their 5th-floor apartment.
Whoever harmed the babies need to go to hell, because they was innocent.
Neighbor Nicole Bickett says she never saw the family who lived on the other side of the hall. Police say they got here around 3:15 yesterday afternoon after a family member concerned about the little brother and sister called 911. Police sources say when they arrived, their mother said, "I do not want them." Investigators found one of the babies in a crib with what appeared to be stab wounds.
Officers questioned the mother about the second baby, and she pointed towards the sink.
That's where they found the baby's twin, also unresponsive and wrapped in a pink blanket in a bag under the sink. Police recovered a knife from the scene and took the young mother in for questioning.
It's not fair at all. It's not fair. I just think it's so sad that that had to happen.
And police say that 23-year-old mother is still being questioned at the 114th precinct at this hour. So far, no charges have been filed. The Administration for Children's Services says it is investigating along with the NYPD. Meantime, the medical examiner will determine exactly how these babies died.
And I want y'all to remember, don't trip about the charges just yet. They will, yes, under the sink. You heard that right. But we have to sometimes wait for them to get enough evidence after the autopsy, and then they will issue greater charges against her.
There are some new developments tonight in the deaths of twin babies in Queens. Just a short time ago, the mother of the children was arrested and now faces criminal charges.
CBS 2's Andrea Grimes is live in Woodside, Queens with the latest. Andrea.
Dick and Christine, neighbors are calling this an unconscionable crime. Within the last 45 minutes, we've learned from police that 23-year-old Denasia Kilpatrick is facing charges including murder in the deaths of her twin babies. One candle burned for two murdered babies outside the Woodside houses in Queens. Police say 46-day-old twins Dakota and Dallas Bentley were found dead inside their fifth-floor apartment.
Maybe some of y'all didn't catch this. I'm going to back this up so y'all can see this. Let me show y'all this again, because this is something I'm getting ready to rant about here in a moment. Look at this.
23-year-old Denasia Kilpatrick is facing charges including murder in the deaths of her twin babies.
Right here. Pay attention to this part. I want to see if y'all catch it.
One candle burned for two murdered babies outside the Woodside houses in Queens. Police say 46-day-old twins Dakota and Dallas Bentley were found.
Dre the Dream got it. Let's back it up.
Facing charges including murder in the deaths of her twin babies. One candle burned for two murdered babies outside.
One candle. Look at this.
Candle burned.
One candle. But we go out and buy 125,000 balloons to go release into the air, which is actually going to pollute our environment. And the one thing that we could be doing is blowing bubbles, lighting candles, as opposed to releasing balloons. This is the only tribute that these babies had. Let me point something else out. You don't hear nobody out there protesting with no signs, with no t-shirts, no justice for Dallas and Dakota. Did y'all see any of that? I'm gonna play the videos and I want y'all to tell me how many people look outraged about this. How many people want justice over this? How many of those people are out there gonna dedicate themselves to fixing this? One candle. Y'all couldn't have pitched in and got two? Or am I just stupid? I could just be stupid. Shout out to Make This Go Viral TV. Make sure y'all check their channel out as well. MTGV TV. Shout out to you. Features a lot of different stories, including stories just like this one. So you mean to tell me the community couldn't even band together to get $2 store candles? Some of those Money House Blessing candles. Come on, man. This is why I do what I do. People always ask why I do what I do. Yeah, it is better than 100 balloons. I ain't gonna lie, it is. I'd rather this than a bunch of litter. I really would. But at least 2 candles. But no outrage. Let me know when y'all see the protest.
For two murdered babies outside the Woodside houses in Queens. Police say 46-day-old twins Dakota and Dallas Bentley were found dead inside their 5th floor.
But I bet you they'll have a $75,000 GoFundMe.
Apartment.
It hit hard because I was crying last time I heard it. Because they innocent baby, they didn't deserve that.
Neighbor and mom of 3, Nicole Bickett, says she never saw the young family living on the other side of the hall.
Whoever harmed the babies need to go to hell because they was innocent.
The NYPD crime scene unit spent the day processing the scene, a home that turned into a house of horrors for this little brother and sister. Police say their mom's cousin called 911 yesterday concerned about the babies. Sources say the mom told officers, "I do not want them," when they arrived for a wellness check around 3:15 yesterday afternoon. Investigators found one of the babies in a crib with what appeared to be stab wounds.
Officers questioned the mother about the second baby, and she pointed towards the sink.
That's where.
And somehow they gonna make this the police's fault. Somehow the police did something wrong here. I don't know what they did wrong, but apparently the police caused this to happen. For some strange reason, I feel the need to at least let y'all know that's probably the real culprit, right? You know, maybe this is a conspiracy against the mother because maybe she had some vital information that they didn't want her to get out? I don't know.
They found the baby's twin, also unresponsive and wrapped in a pink blanket, in a bag under the sink. Police recovered a knife from the scene and took 23-year-old Denesia Kilpatrick in for questioning. Sources say she has an extensive psychiatric history in Yonkers, where she recently moved from. Police records show she was accused in at least one domestic violence incident involving her sister. As for this case, residents say
the same sister that wished her well on her newborn twins. Isn't that something?
Police records show she was accused in at least one domestic violence incident involving her sister. As for this case, residents say it's just heartbreaking.
For me, it's like in shock, you know what I'm saying? Killing two babies, they twins. It make no sense.
The city medical examiner is determining exactly how those twins died. Meantime, police sources say Kilpatrick lived here alone with her children. Again tonight, she is facing numerous charges, including murder. Reporting live in Woodside, Queens, Andrea Grimes, CBS 2 News.
It's heartbreaking, Andrea. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry Berry. I guess safe haven ain't an option. Adoption's not an option. Giving them up to the dad is not an option, huh?
Breaking news, and it's
abortion's not an option. Abstinence, not an option. Birth control, not an option.
It's sad in Queens, where twin newborns have been found dead. Around 3 this afternoon, police responded to a 911 call in the Woodside houses. Inside an apartment, they found two babies dead, a boy and a girl. Investigators say the infants appear to be 20 to 30 days old. Police say the 23-year-old mother is in custody, but no one has been charged, and it's still unclear how the babies died. We have a reporter on the way to the scene. We'll bring you details as they become available.
Tragedy in Queens. Infant twins found dead inside their apartment. The weapon police just removed from the scene. We thank you for joining us tonight at 11. I'm Natalie Pascarella.
And I'm David Usry. Right now, the baby's mother remains in police custody after a wellness check at the Woodside houses led officers to the bodies of her children.
Okay, y'all heard that part, right? Daquan said, did they say anything about the father? No, they did not. So if, let's just say, I think if the sister or anybody like that gets in touch with me, I'll make sure and ask that question, because I'm definitely curious where the dad is. Did she even know who the father was? I'm assuming if she got on public housing, which is similar to Section 8, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Maybe it's different. But you have to provide them who the father is, right? You said mental health is real? No, replace that word real with excuse. A excuse. Mental health is an excuse. We're going to switch that up. I feel you, Leah Marie, but I'm changing the narrative one video at a time, one story at a time, to say mental illness is an excuse. That's all it is. When people talk about, oh, it's mental illness, that's why I did something so heinous and so stupid. Well, if that's the case, then you should not be a parent if you are that unstable. Does everybody understand where I'm coming from? All right, let's keep going.
Towards Ravietta live in Astoria with some new information tonight on what she has told investigators. Ray?
David, it was a concerned call from a cousin that led police to a fifth-floor apartment in the Woodside houses. Inside, they discovered two dead babies, twins. Those bodies now with the medical examiner. Meanwhile, the mother inside this police precinct station house being questioned.
It's chilling to know, like, something like that could happen.
It's hard to imagine the scene officers walked into Thursday afternoon. Just after 3, they responded to an apartment inside the Woodside houses on 51st Street. Inside, they discovered 6.
I'm not going to lie to y'all. That housing place, whatever that is, does that not look like a prison? Or am I just mischaracterizing New York? I've never been to New York. Let me back this up and show y'all this. Not that I know what the inside of a prison looks like. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. But look at this.
Thursday afternoon, just after.
Does that not look like a prison? That doesn't look like, I know some people gonna get mad. That doesn't look like a house. That looks like a prison. That don't look like apartments. It looks like a jail.
They responded to an apartment inside the Woodside houses on 51st Street. Inside, they discovered 6-week-old twins, a boy named Dallas and a girl Dakota, both dead.
Never want to hear about things like that, especially when it comes to children. It's heartbreaking.
Officers were called to the apartment by a cousin of the children's mother.
The family member.
I know they have places like that look like that in Oklahoma. Well, not like that, but housing projects were gated in. I mean, they look really crappy. And I got to give a shout out to the east side of Oklahoma City because they've actually renovated them. They tore down all of those gates trying to gate the people in, rebuilding all of those houses over there. So I can at least give them credit for that. So it at least looks like a nice community now.
Who had spoken to the mother was concerned about the child's well-being and contacted the police. She called 911. Officers from PSA 9 responded.
Police sources say it appears the baby boy was discovered stabbed in his crib.
Officers questioned the mother about the second baby, and she pointed towards the sink. Officers discovered a second child under the sink area, wrapped in a blanket.
Both babies pronounced dead at the scene. A knife was recovered. Police and detectives spent the evening going in and out of the crime scene, a 5th-floor apartment. The 23-year-old mother taken in for questioning. Outside the apartment building, neighbors left with their own questions.
Everybody wants babies. People that can't have them want babies. There's a firehouse right down there.
I cannot hear that woman with that mask on. I'm going to go ahead and skip that video. I don't know why they continue to keep giving interviews with their mask covering up their mouth like we can understand what they're saying. Let me say thank you real quick. Ami R, who was in the chat, said, keep up the good work, Jay and the AFC team. Let's continue to advocate for these angels. So thank you so much for that message. For everybody else, I will read them here in just a moment. For the people who support it, I will read those here right after the story, but I do see them. So I'm going to shout y'all out here in just a moment.
But first, infant twins discovered dead. What police say happened when their mother led officers into her home. Good evening. I'm Maurice Dubois.
And I'm Christine Johnson.
And that's where we begin tonight. Officers discovered the nearly 6-week-old infants dead inside their home.
CBS 2's Allie Bauman live outside the 114th precinct in Astoria, where the baby's mom is now in police custody. Allie?
Christina Maurice, the medical examiner, is working to determine the twins' cause of death. Police say the mother's cousin requested a wellness check for the babies after they spoke on the phone. The cousin told police the mother did not sound right, and when officers went inside the apartment, what they found was gut-wrenching. The Woodside houses on 51st Street in Queens, a tragic crime scene Thursday afternoon. Police were called to a 5th-floor apartment around 3 p.m.
A family member was concerned about the children's welfare, called 911.
Police say the 23-year-old mother let officers inside. Sources say she said, "I do not want them." Police found a nearly 6-week-old baby unresponsive in a crib with what appear to be stab wounds.
Officers questioned the mother about the second baby, and she pointed towards the sink.
That's where they found the baby's twin, also unresponsive and wrapped in a pink blanket in a bag under the sink.
I'm like, I'm a mom. Heartbreaking. It just really affects me.
Really a terrible story. That is a grisly discovery in Queens. We talked about this a little earlier in the newscast. Infants were found dead inside a NYCC complex in Woodside. Now, police are investigating the moments leading up to that grim finding. And we'll go to Kayla Mamlak. She's live in Woodside with all the details. Kayla.
Yeah, well, Reagan, police say a family member called 911 from right outside the Woodside house is here expressing concerns about 46-day-old twins living inside with their mother. Turns out that relative had every right to be concerned.
46 days. 46 days.
The New York City medical examiner van is never a welcome sight, but this time it's unconscionable. What started as a wellness check.
Thank you, Michelle Alvizio, and I hope I pronounced your last name correctly, but much love and thank you so much for joining the family and for joining the channel membership. Just want to thank you. I saw that pop in there, so thank you very much.
Inside apartment 5A at 3176 51st Street ended with a horrifying discovery.
Officers from Police Service Area 9 responded to the scene and observed a 6-week-old baby inside of a crib, unconscious and unresponsive, with trauma to the body.
That trauma, police say, stab wounds to a baby boy named Dallas Bentley. Responding officers immediately asked the mother where his twin sister was.
And she pointed towards the sink.
Officers found 6-week-old Dakota Bentley underneath the sink area, wrapped in a blanket, unconscious and unresponsive. EMTs were called, but it was too late. Both babies were dead.
I agree. Mookie Lolo, we're going to go ahead and stop it right there. And I'm going to give y'all my closing thoughts. Mookie Lolo showing some love in the super chat said, it's apparent that you shouldn't be a parent if you claim mental illness as an excuse. Keep up the great work, Jay, and thank you very much for the $5 super chat. And I don't know if that's that's a Tommy saying or not, but I know I've heard Tommy say that. But shout out to my brother Tommy. But let me go ahead and close this out by saying this. So for the people watching this on the replay, it'll be a little bit shorter. It won't be quite this long. I'm going to tell you this. One thing that we really didn't talk about as much in this story is the safe haven program that's set up for this exact thing. But I'm going to tell you, because we know that it's set up and it's available for mothers who are in these desperate situations and they get emotional and get harebrained and out of their mind, they could go get help. There are phone numbers they could call. A simple Google search on their Obama phones and their little smartphones and their iPhones and all of this bull crap would pull up so much information. And I'm going to tell you guys, it is hard to raise one baby, let alone two. I'm telling you guys, as a father, when I had my daughter, and shout out to my baby, she's a teenager now. I'm glad she grew up and thrived and survived. But I'm going to tell you guys, I had no idea how hard it was to deal with a baby day in, day out, day in, day out. I used to keep my daughter 4 days a week. Monday through Thursday, because I had a weekend job, so it would offset so my daughter's mom could work during that time. And there were days where my mother, and shout out to my mother, I love her so dearly, when she would just randomly pop up at my apartment and just come pick up my daughter. Just randomly. And sometimes she'd be right on time because I'd be sitting there with a headache. You know, my baby's sitting there crying. I'm not sure how to get her to stop crying. I'm not sure what's wrong with her. They keep you awake. It really does test your nerves and your patience as a parent. That's how I know this thing was never meant for us to do it by ourselves. I'm telling you guys, and this is why I continue to use these stories as cautionary tales. We can't do nothing about those dead twins. But what we can do is for the next person who's stepping into these situations, who's already laid down, might already have a baby on the way, who are going through these situations, or for people prior to them laying down with somebody, think about this type of stuff before we even get here. We have so much information in front of us to let you know the dangers and how crucial it is bringing children into this world. This woman had absolutely no excuse. Can y'all type that in the chat for me? She had no excuses. From the moment she laid down, she was not raped. She was not taken advantage of. She did that willingly. She accepted the seed of a man willingly. She continued to go through a pregnancy. She avoided the contraceptives. She avoided the day after pill. She avoided early term abortion, middle term abortion, late term abortion. Even after giving birth, didn't say anything that she didn't want the kids. And then you avoided the safe for 6 weeks. 48 days, she could have given up custody of those children safely with no consequences. They will not tie you to child support like they would a man. Isn't that something? You get to relinquish your responsibilities free and clear. That is a special privilege to These type of chicks. And I'm going to tell you something. The reason why we put hashtag no excuses in the chat is because no matter how many outs you give these people, they are determined to fail no matter what. She's just a terrible human, a terrible person. She's not a mother, and she should have never have been around these children. She should have never have had reproductive rights. It also makes me wonder where the father is. Like, how do you lose the father that quickly? The problem, like they say in the movie The Matrix, one of my favorite movies, the problem is choice. The problem was her choices. She made horrible choices. Not once, but twice to murder those. She had no excuse for murder. Mental illness? No. That is a conscious choice. 48 days. That's a conscious choice. That's not an all of a sudden snapped. That's a conscious choice. But I guess, you know what? I guess hashtag BLM, Black Lives Matter didn't come out, didn't protest. Not even the people in the apartment complex protested. They couldn't even be bothered to barely crack their door open to be like, oh yeah, that's so sad. I'm sorry to hear that. And then slam the door in their face. They couldn't even be bothered to buy more than one of those Money House Blessing candles from the Dollar General store. They bought one candle to light on the ground in memory of those 2 twin babies instead of 2 candles, let alone having some type of vigil, memorial. There is no outrage. And that's probably the thing that I find the most shocking, and it's the thing that I'm going to continue to call out. These babies and these twins couldn't speak for themselves, nor could they defend themselves. But let me tell y'all this, even though it might not sound too good, but let me tell you this. At least they were newborn babies and their bodies might not have been able to register how much suffering that really was. They hadn't been on this earth long enough to really understand the concept of pain. That in itself might be just a little bit of a blessing. That those babies didn't suffer too much. I hope they didn't. They're sitting at the feet of Jesus right now, and we're just so sorry to those twins that this world has failed them this way. But the accountability has to start being put on the biological mother and biological father. We have to stop blaming CPS. We have to stop blaming the police. We have to stop blaming our president. We have to start blaming the people who are the parents. That is where the responsibility lies. Of course, they have no life insurance, because why have life insurance? When people hear about this story, you can just put up $175 million GoFundMe and people are going to fund it. We continue to keep making it to where people are irresponsible. We have to start holding people accountable for their bad actions if we truly want our society to be better. If you want your kids to grow up in a better environment, if you want that generation to grow up and be better, then damn it, y'all just got to put y'all foot down, vote for the right people, and stand on some principle. To baby Dallas and baby Dakota, young Prince and young Princess, prayer hands up. I don't want the mother on the page. Young Prince, young Princess, R.I.P. Y'all deserve so much better. As far as that mother, life in prison, I don't care if she gets the ultimate penalty under law. She deserves every bit of it. Screw mental illness. It's an excuse. I'm DJ Just J. We're the AFC, where we're going to continue to advocate for children first. Please make sure you guys listen with an open mind and an open heart. Thank you. For the people who are still here, we still have one more story to talk about if you guys do not mind. Can I talk about one more story real quick? Dakota and Dallas. Yes, y'all spelled it right. Those names are thanking you for sending it, Kimmy. Because apparently we got some people that watch the channel who get mad because y'all guys choose to support me. I'll tell you something cool that you can do is if you guys decide to donate to the channel, a really cool thing that you guys could do is you can maybe put in a message in there and let me know like why you're sending it, and I can read it out for the people so they'll kind of know why people are contributing. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that'll help give them some insight, I guess. I don't know. I just didn't realize that we had a handful of people who are mad about people just supporting me and supporting this channel and wanting to see us grow. I just didn't realize we had, I don't know what do you call that a hater? Is that a hater? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they just don't want to see a black man out here being the head of something, running something. I don't know. Making a difference. Maybe something's wrong because I'm not a thug. I'm not out gangbanging and shooting people. Is that what it is? I don't know. I'm not out being a deadbeat daddy. Not the best dad in the world, but I'm a pretty good dad. I'm a pretty good person. Now, we got 600 people watching. If y'all guys would do me a favor, now that we have 600 people here, can we get 195 more people to click that thumbs up? Whenever you click the thumbs up, it's kind of like giving a virtual hug to the children. So if you would, if y'all love these babies, if you really believe, like the shirt says, babies' lives matter, give them a virtual hug. Click the like and hug a child, okay? Thank you. Let's bring up this next story. Ladies and gentlemen, in a lot of these stories, we've been talking about step-parents, moms, dads. Sometimes we do feature grandparents. And sometimes I believe that grandparents can kind of be like a safe place for kids, because usually when you think about grandparents, you think about being spoiled. You think about time away from home. You think about so many good things. You think about candy and treats and just all of this wonderful stuff. And then you look at this little baby girl right here. Let me see if I can get a better picture of her. This little girl right here. And I'm going to tell y'all, I actually like this picture, and I'll explain why this is one of my favorite pictures of this baby right here. And you just ask yourself, what could this beautiful, smiling little baby girl have done so wrong to meet such an incredibly gruesome demise? So I'm going to warn you guys, it's not going to sit well with your sensibilities. So if you can't handle it, this might be a good time to exit this video, because I'm going to give you guys some details that might turn your stomachs. But I feel like we owe it to these kids to at least listen to their story, okay? There is an Idaho grandmother. An Idaho grandmother left her missing 8-year-old granddaughter's vomit-encrusted corpse inside of her Lexus vehicle for 2 days. That baby, Taran Summers. And thank you. I was talking about the tooth fairy. You're exactly right. We'll get back to that here in a minute. This grandmother, this so-called grandmother, let me see if I can get her face on the screen so y'all can see who I'm talking about. This evil, wicked witch of the West looking face ass, Miss Potato Face looking ass. She literally looks like every meme that you could create about an ugly looking grandmother. Just a terrible person. They said she left her missing 8-year-old granddaughter's body that was vomit encrusted, left that corpse inside of her Lexus for 2 days. Granny Wicked Witch of the West's name is Connie Smith, who was 54 years old. Why this woman looks like she's a good going on 80 is beyond me. But apparently she ages just like milk. But she was originally arrested last Thursday on charges of first-degree murder over the death of 8-year-old Taran Summers, found dead in a garbage bag inside of her car. What kind of life is that? What? Why would she do that to her grandbaby? Why does she even have her grandbaby in her possession? Was she the custodial parent? I don't know yet. But it makes me wonder where the parents were and how this went for more than 48 hours and there was no, I don't know. There was no outcry. Let's keep going. Now, during her arraignment hearing in Jim County Court on Monday, it emerged that charges against her have been downgraded to felony failure to notify of a death and destruction of evidence. How, Sway? How? I'm going to read that again. During her arraignment hearing in Jim County Court on Monday, it emerged that charges against her have been downgraded. Downgraded to felony failure to notify of a death and destruction of evidence. According to the probable cause affidavit, law enforcement officials last week discovered Taran Summers, identified in court records by the initials TS, dead in the trunk of her Lexus car. Prosecutors have yet to say how Taran died, which I think that's important. Whether it was blunt force trauma or whatever it is, I don't know why that hadn't come out yet before they decide to downgrade charges. Does that even make, for the people who are listening, somebody please tell me if that makes any sense to y'all, because it doesn't to me. The child was reported missing from the Smith's home on Airport Road in Emmett on April the 12th, months after her two older siblings, 16-year-old Tristan Sexton and 14-year-old Taylor Summers, ran away from home. The older children are not considered to be in danger because I think they were found. Now, according to court documents cited by the EastIdahoNews.com, Smith called the police last week and claimed that TS, the baby, who is believed to be her granddaughter, had run away from home on April the 12th. The grandmother claimed that Taran had defecated on a carpet at her home and she cut the carpet out and burned it. That's weird. Investigators later learned that Smith was driving a black Lexus with Taran sleeping in the back seat on the day of the child's purported disappearance, and that she carried the girl to a bedroom at home. 2 days later, police searched Smith's Lexus and found her granddaughter's body stuffed inside a black trash bag on the floor of the rear seating area. Please remember that they downgraded the charges. Bookmark that in your mind. We'll come back to it. The affidavit revealed that the child had vomit in her hair and on her shirt. During a search of Smith's residence, forensic investigators observed a small brown spot on the bedroom wall, which they presumed to be blood, the document stated. Jennifer Sexton, who identified herself as Taran's aunt, wrote in the description of a GoFundMe page, because of course, why have life insurance when you could just throw up a $155 million GoFundMe and somebody's going to put a shit ton of money in it, right? There's no reason to have life insurance, apparently. So they wrote in a GoFundMe campaign that Smith was the foster mother of the girl and her older siblings. Therefore, that means you have a failure on this baby's biological mother and father. That's already a horrible sign when both parents are occupado, incapacitated, whatever it is. Taran had a personality twice her size and was a very funny little smart girl who could always make everybody laugh, wrote Sexton. EastIdahoNews.com previously reported that the child's biological mother was arrested in 2019 after Taylor, Taran, and another sibling tested positive for illegal narcotics. So mama is a meth head. How about that? How about that? At Smith's arraignment on Monday, Judge Tyler Smith called the allegations against the woman disturbing. Prosecutors Eric Thompson told the court that additional charges could be filed against Smith and asked the judge to set her bond at $1 million. Smith's attorney argued that this client is not a flight risk because she has strong ties to the community, have lived in Idaho for 20 years, and raised 8 children there. He also said that she is a person of modest means and any bond amount would be difficult for her to pay. The judge set bail at $800,000. If released from jail, she'll be required to wear a GPS monitor, surrender her passport, and stay in western Idaho. She is also prohibited from having any contact with children. She's due back in court on May the 3rd, which is in a few days. So here's the thing. What I have a problem with is the fact that they are already downgrading charges that quickly. That just doesn't sound right to me. But the charges could completely come back and go against her, which I think it should, because that's impossible for this woman to have been in this car, been around this kid, the only person who's the caretaker of her at this point, and she don't know nothing about the death of this kid and how this kid ended up dead in her car and stuffed inside of a trash bag. Who else would you think would have done it? Hashtag babies for benefits, because that woman damn sure didn't love them kids at all. Let me give you guys the fair usage. Let's get it. Real quick, I need to thank a couple of people. Let me say thank you, Rachel Vomhoff, showing some love. Thank you very much in the super chat if you're listening. Let me show some love to Candy Boyd. Said, because our babies need you. Hashtag you are my hero. Candy Boyd, from my heart to yours. Thank you. And she took on the $50 challenge, if y'all can see that. Thank you so much. Not the $50 challenge, but the $50 super chat. I just call it a challenge. But thank you so much for showing love. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. This woman should be forced to give an account as to how that baby ended up in her car in a trash bag. I think the grandma did it, but she needs to explain that. She should be forced to speak. Let me show some love to Kelly O'Brien, who was in the chat. Said, thank you, Jay, for giving so much of yourself day in and day out for the children. I am so honored to be a part of this advocacy with such incredible people. Your time, compassion, and your dedication do not go unnoticed. Thank you. Kelly O'Brien, show some love, $30 in the super chat if you're listening. Thank you so much. All right, here we go. Let's get it.
We begin today with a case that has rocked an entire community to its core. A Gem County woman arrested in Ada County last week who was originally charged with murder, now facing the felony charge of failure to notify of a death and destruction of evidence in the death of her 8-year-old granddaughter. That's according to the latest court documents surrounding Connie Smith. Multiple agencies, including the FBI, the U.S. Marshal, and the Idaho State Police, searched Smith's home last Thursday night outside of Emmett. Authorities said that night they believed they found the remains of this little girl, 8-year-old Taran Summers, in a trash bag inside a car at her home.
Let me say this real quick. I know I usually let the videos run. I've got to address two things that y'all just said in the chat because I totally agree with you. First of all, we have one person that said she probably didn't want to lose that check for fostering. Sounds like the little girl had a seizure and grandma didn't care enough to get proper medical care. That actually does make sense. So I appreciate you saying that. There was one more in here. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. Taran was failed by the grandmother, her parents. She didn't have anybody. You are absolutely right. Absolutely right. There are 2 GoFundMes. I only found one. Are there 2 GoFundMes? If there are, we need to know about it. I saw one, but I didn't know there were 2. We also had another person who said she killed her but reported her a runaway, which is premeditated murder. That's also something else to think about as far as a motive. Something that makes sense. Let's keep going.
That night, they arrested Smith in Ada County. Now, there are many more questions than answers in this case right now. Our Tristan Lewis is in Gem County and joins us live with more on what we know. Tristan?
Good afternoon, Mark. Judge Tyler Smith has sent Connie Smith's bond for $800,000. And today we learned that she's being charged with 2 new charges that she was booked for in Ada County last week. She's being charged with failure to notify of a corpse and destruction of evidence, both of which are felonies. She is being found guilty. If she is found guilty, she could face a total of 15 years in prison and a $16,000 fine.
Alleged conduct is disturbing. Report that a child was missing. Ultimately, the discovery of the deceased child on the property. I believe 2 days.
She could get 15 years. Did y'all hear that? That's it? It seemed like the system is going real light on Granny.
Failure to notify of a corpse and destruction of evidence, both of which are felonies. She is being found guilty. If she is found guilty, she could face a total of 15 years in prison.
15, man, I hope they give her life in prison. Give her 50 freaking years in prison. 50, give her her age. 54 years. That's what she needs in prison. That don't make any sense.
And a $16,000 fine.
Alleged conduct is disturbing. Report that a child was missing. Ultimately, the discovery of the deceased child on the property. I believe 2 days later. The potential penalty, depending on the conclusion of the investigation, could be severe.
If Smith does post bail, she will have to wear a GPS monitoring device and she cannot leave the area. Gem County Prosecutor Eric Thompson recommended her bond be set at $1 million. He says that additional charges are to be expected. And no official name has been given in the name of...
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Don Nelson. Tonight at 10, we head directly to our top story. New details as court documents shed light on how investigators say they found the body of a young child in a trash bag in the backseat of a Lexus in Emmett. The Gem County Sheriff's Office tells us they believe the body to be that of Taran Summers, an 8-year-old girl who was reported missing last week. Our reporter Ricardo Coronado has been closely following this story for you and has the very latest.
The Gem County Sheriff's Office have yet to publicly identify the suspect in this case, who they arrested last week in Ada County. But a probable cause affidavit points to 54-year-old Connie Ann Smith, the grandmother of the child. On April 15, investigators in Emmett made a horrific discovery. The Gem County Sheriff's Office say they found a body that they believe to be 8-year-old Taran Summers in a garbage bag in a family car.
I'd say maybe if it went down the way that they say, 15 years just don't sound long enough. Maybe 25, but there's nothing that's going to be good enough because it ain't going to bring this baby back. But let me remind you guys, if y'all would, you could show some virtual love for this baby by clicking that thumbs up. It'll help share this stream. Our goal is to try to get to 600 thumbs up if we can get there. So please click that thumbs up and help share this stream and share this baby's story, okay?
Young girl was reported missing on April 12th and was last seen on Airport Road. A probable cause affidavit states that investigators
said found blood in the home and found blood in her car and found the body in her car. There's just too much there. And it was her car. So you asked whose car it was? It was grandmother's car and her car. That's too many fingers pointing at her. But I want y'all to also remember that this is still kind of early, but we do expect more charges, and we expect for her to get life in prison for her role in this.
Investigators responded to the residence of 54-year-old Connie Ann Smith in Emmett, whom they identify as the grandmother of the child referred to as TS in the document. Smith had reported the child as a runaway, prompting multiple searches at her residence that investigators say eventually led to the discovery of a child's body in the backseat of a black Lexus registered to a family member. Though authorities say they have arrested a suspect in the case, they have not publicly identified that person. Ada County arrest logs show Connie Ann Smith was initially booked into jail on first-degree murder charges on an out-of-county warrant and later transferred to Gem County.
State of Idaho versus Connie Smith.
On Monday, Smith appeared for her arraignment at the Gem County.
Somebody in the chat is saying it was her son's car, not her car. Okay, I'll go with that because I don't know for a fact, but I thought from the document I read, I thought they said that it was a car that she owned. So maybe the car was in her name. I don't know. They said they found it, the child in her Lexus. That's it. Let me make sure to read this again. Make sure I read this right. Let me make sure. I could have read that wrong. Let me make sure. An Idaho grandmother left her missing eight-year-old granddaughter's vomit-encrusted corpse inside her Lexus for 2 days. This is why I'm very careful about what I read. Y'all can go to the article. It says an Idaho grandmother left her 8-year-old granddaughter's vomit-encrusted corpse inside her Lexus for 2 days. Didn't say nothing about her son's car. Said her Lexus. But let's get past that.
Magistrate Court. She's now charged with 2 felonies: failure to notify of a death and destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence.
That would carry a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison, a $50,000 fine, or both. Do you understand that maximum penalty?
Yes.
Count 2 alleges destruction of evidence, a felony. That would carry up to 5 years in prison, a $10,000 fine, or both. Do you understand that maximum possible penalty?
Yes.
It's unclear if Smith will face murder charges, but Eric Thompson, Gem County prosecutor, says more charges could be coming pending investigation.
The state is waiting for the conclusion of that investigation or making any final determinations on any charges. However, it would be my current belief that additional charges for Ms. Smith will be coming.
The court set a bail of $800,000 for Smith, and a preliminary hearing is scheduled for May 3rd. In Emmett, Ricardo Coronado, Idaho News.
And welcome to the Saturday News at 10. I'm Shira Matsuzawa. Thank you for joining us. Well, candles, balloons, and heartache were on full display tonight as people who knew and who never met Taran Summers came together and held a candlelight vigil for the 8-year-old girl in Emmett. Now, Taran was first reported missing on.
If y'all can hear that, let me know. Type in the chat and let me know if y'all can hear that.
Candles, balloons, and heartache were on full display tonight as people.
Y'all should be able to hear that okay. I'm going to let it play out.
Monday, investigators believe they found her body at a home in Emmett. Tonight, the community held this vigil at Bowman Memorial Park in honor of the young girl.
Absolutely devastated. You know, I mean, to think of this, an 8-year-old girl who's gone through this tragedy is just absolutely unthinkable. You know, and you think of your own kids, and my kids played with this little girl. So it was, when we got the news, it was devastating. And also just to bring awareness that, you know, sometimes it's important to, if you know something's going on or you suspect something's going on within a home where there's abuse or neglect, that's reported to somebody who can help.
Our crew on the scene tells us some 200 people attended today's vigil.
And I want y'all to notice, they said 200 people showed up. think about the last story that we just did about the New York twins. They put one Money House Blessing candle out there on the street, lit, to represent 2 murdered lives. Nobody cared about those twins. Look at this situation and notice how some people knew this baby, some people didn't, and they still got a lot of support. 200 people. This is what I've been asking for, is I've been asking for people to care about all of these babies and support them like this. Make time, find time, because it shouldn't be happening. Thought I'd throw that out there. That's a pretty drastic difference.
And we begin tonight with today's new developments related to the death of an 8-year-old Emmett girl whose body was found late last week after the search for 3 children believed at the time to be runaways. Court documents detail some heartbreaking findings in the investigation. Among them, that the girl's body was found in a garbage bag inside a car outside her grandmother's home. The child's grandmother, Connie Smith, today appeared in Gem County Court on 2 separate charges than what she was charged with last week in Ada County. Last week, she was facing a murder charge. Now she isn't. According to court documents, she's charged with failure to notify of a corpse and destruction of evidence. Our Tristan Lewis has been following this case and joins us from the Gem County Courthouse with more. Tristan, tell us more about the new information that you heard about today in this arraignment.
Good evening, Mark. Well, a judge has set Connie Smith's bond for $800,000. Now, prosecutors urge the judge to set that for $1 million because they believe additional charges are still expected. The girl's body was found in a plastic bag. The girl's body that was found in a plastic bag is believed to be 8-year-old Taran Summers. She was reported missing by...
I'd love to hear from the grandmother how she felt like this child got into her car inside of a trash bag. That was done to this child. I'd love to hear that story and explain that.
Smith on April 12th, and that's according to court documents. The Gem County Sheriff's Office has not released the name of the victim in Smith's case, but those court documents refer to her as TS. Court documents say that Smith told investigators Taran ran away. Crews and investigators searched around the area where she lived last week.
My brother Dre asked, where are the parents? Well, we know the mom is in jail as of 2019 for possession of what was it? Of drugs? Let me make sure. Let me make sure. She's also, let me see, mom. Hold on, Dre. Let me find it, bro. Hold on. I think it said the, let me see if I can find 2019. Hold on, let me try to find that real quick. Hold on. 2019, because I know I just saw it. Okay. The EastIdahoNews.com previously reported that the children's biological mother was arrested in 2019 after Taylor, Taran, and another sibling tested positive for illegal narcotics. Mom was arrested in 2019. So it sounds like mama was a meth head. Daddy, we don't know.
Documents say search crews found a spot of blood on Taran.
You're good. Like I said, man, you might have missed that part, but it's okay, bro. I got you. Not a problem.
Taran's bedroom wall.
Because if you missed it, there's somebody out there who also maybe didn't hear what I hear that part whenever we said it earlier, so it's okay. But yeah, we haven't heard anything about the dad at all.
And they were also led to a black Lexus outside of that house. Someone saw Smith driving that car with Taran sleeping in the back the day she went missing. And investigators say they found Taran's body in the black Lexus in a black plastic bag.
Essentially.
The investigation has now turned into a murder case. That development happening late tonight. Local police, along with state troopers, U.S. Marshals, and the FBI set up a mobile command.
Yes, the kids tested positive for narcotics. That's what it said. For illegal narcotics. I don't really know what any of that means. I didn't look into the details, but it said the mom was arrested. I don't know.
Post this after.
By the way, did they have a candlelit vigil for the twin babies last night? Oh, you said they did have a candlelit vigil. Thank you, Kelly O'Brien, for correcting me. As you know, I was really about to keep trying to crap on those people for not showing any type of respect for those twin babies. Thank you for that.
Afternoon at a home near Airport Road and Highway 52 where the children were last seen. Our Tristan Lewis is just down the road from the home where police were searching today. Tristan, still so many questions about this, but what have you been able to learn so far?
Good evening, Kim. After hours of investigation at 1666 Airport Road, the Gem County Sheriff's Office believed the body...
Yeah, because I'm still pissed off about that one, and I call it a Money House Blessing candle. I know that's not what the name of it is. I think it's like one of those Catholic candles. I don't know exactly what it is, but y'all see them damn things in the dollar store. And y'all know the Money House Blessing. Y'all remember that nasty cheap spray that you used to be able to buy? Supposedly, like when you use the bathroom and you spray that stuff. That purple stuff, that was Money House Blessing spray. It was the cheapest, most terrible crap ever. And I'm sure that stuff probably had a whole bunch of stuff that was ruining our greenhouse, causing global warming and all kind of stuff. But they had one candle out there, and guess that bugs the absolute crap out of me. Why bring one candle when you know you got twins? I don't know.
They found is that of 8.
Church lady said that's why I don't let my kids go over to sleepovers. Hey, look, I understand.
Year-old Taran Summers. Taran had been reported missing since Monday. The sheriff's office says that a suspect is in custody in Ada County and says, we have learned there is a woman named Connie Ann Smith in custody in the Ada County jail. She was arrested by Idaho State Police on an out-of-county warrant for first-degree murder. The home where the body was found is owned by a Connie Smith, and that's according to the Gem County Assessor's Office.
I want to thank everyone for their concern and support during the last few days. I want to thank our state partners, Idaho State Police, and our federal partners, the U.S. Marshal's Office and the FBI. Their time, resources, and effort have made this investigation update possible.
2 of Taran's siblings, Tristan Sexton and Taylor Summers, are considered runaways and are not in immediate danger. Deputies say they have had communication with family members since missing. And Sheriff Wonder also says law enforcement has made contact with Taylor. It does not believe she is in danger.
So I believe that they found those kids, and like I said, why they disappeared is beyond me. I think this video, let me let the last little bit of this play. And then we'll close out.
In the heart of downtown Emmett tomorrow at 8 p.m. Now, we spoke to Deborah earlier, and she said she has no relation to Taran. She doesn't even know the family, but she said this was something that she had to do.
I did a lot of praying last night, and when I woke up this morning, I just had a calling to start something to help get the community involved, so that we could all pray for the family, we can pray for Taran, and we can pray for the person that did this. Because they need the prayer too. We're all brothers and sisters, every one of us. And when something happens, we all have to pony up and we all have to help each other with consoling each other, praying for each other, giving comfort to each other, and hope that this child did not die in vain and that justice will be done to whoever did this to her.
Now, Deborah is still looking for a pastor to help lead prayer and a PA system. If you can help, let Deborah know on that Facebook page. Again, this vigil will be right here in Bowman Memorial Park in downtown Emmett tomorrow at 8 p.m. Tammy?
Okay, I'm sure.
Let me go ahead and give you guys my closing thoughts. I'm going to tell you guys, I always put the onus on the biological mother and biological father. The nuclear family is where the failure first started, because something was going wrong with this mom and dad, that they didn't have this baby under their roof and they were not the caretakers. I'm not sure how long this baby was in this woman's possession, but she should have never been there in the first place, because that was the mom's job and the dad's job. So that's where the failure starts. We could blame it on grandma. We could blame it on CPS. We could blame it on the rain if we want to, I guess. But the responsibility starts on the mother and the father, okay? Now, because the grandmother ended up getting custody, she had to have known that either something was going wrong, she was either doing something wrong, could have been beating on the kids. Y'all know sometimes old people, patience run a little thin, and kids got a lot of high energy. And maybe, I don't know, maybe she wanted to permanently sit this baby down and took it too far, which is why I also believe in not being physical. I do not believe in physical discipline with children at all. If you hit your kids, then stop hitting your kids, stop spanking your kids, stop grabbing at them, yelling, cussing, fussing, and all of that stuff. We gotta start putting more love into our children. Because it seems like this woman didn't love this kid, or probably any of them other kids, and she probably only had them. Well, number one, because probably nobody else was there for him. Mama wasn't there for him. She was in jail. We don't know where dad is. He probably a rolling stone. But grandma clearly also had an incentive, and it seemed like her incentive was financial. I'm not sure what the level of that was, but she damn sure didn't care about the kids. So it seemed like she only had those kids to benefit and get something off of it. It's really sad, and it seems like this baby was really kind of doomed from the beginning of her life. I hope they do come out with more evidence, and as they get more evidence and as they proceed further in this case, we'll probably do an update and let you guys kind of know what's going on. Or if you will check the community tab, sometimes if we end up with really, really short stories, I'll just post the updates in the community tab so people can kind of know and follow these stories and figure out what's going on. But Taran Summers, let me go back to my favorite picture of her, and I'll explain why it was my favorite picture. We'll talk about that GoFundMe here in a moment. This was my favorite picture of her because she's just like a typical kid, lost a tooth, got $1 from the tooth fairy. She just seemed like a typical kid, a typical baby. She seemed happy. They don't need much, just a little love and attention. That's it. Let me talk about this GoFundMe real quick. Let's see here. This GoFundMe was put up by Jennifer Sexton. $8,000 for this GoFundMe. So they didn't want to make this type of an investment while this baby was living, but they want to take this and they want to ask for this type of money off of her death. Solely off of her death. This is where life insurance needs to come in place. Life insurance should never be supplemented for GoFundMe and vice versa. Because it seemed like there was really no love for that baby. But guess what? They put up a GoFundMe. Seemed like the community cared. Seemed like the kids cared. The kids are sad because they don't understand what's going on and why this happened. And this type of thing should stop. we can't do anything about Taran's death, but what we can do is we can use her death as a cautionary tale to prevent these type of things going forward. Okay? Well, what happened was senseless, and I hope we get a real explanation, because I'm not so sure Granny Wicked Witch of the West is going to tell us. Okay? So we hope that we get justice. We'll do a follow-up with the story as we get more information. But to that little princess, let me see if I can get her picture back up here. Taran Summers. Let me see if I can get a solo shot. Young princess, R.I.P. I'm DJ Just J. We're the AFC, and we're going to advocate for children first. So from my heart to yours, I love you guys. Thank y'all for listening with an open mind and an open heart. Y'all have a great day and a great night. We'll see you guys on the next stream, okay? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you guys so much for coming through and supporting. We had almost about 700 people watching, which is pretty good. I would love for us to average really well at our numbers, because I want as many people to see these stories. I think this stuff matters more than celebrity news. How about y'all? Huh? I think these type of stories matter more than celebrity news, but celebrity news and their bullcrap gets a hell of a lot more attention, and I think these babies need all the attention. And I would love to be a conduit to help us get there, okay? But thank you guys so much. Let me say thank you to those who, out of the goodness of their heart, sent love and contributed. Let me say thank you again, Angerman, Dominique Holmes, Jessica with an S, Kimberly. Thank you, Kimberly, if you're listening. Thank you also to Becky, to Kimberly with a T, and also my friend Leanne, who is in the chat. Leanne, are you still in there? Excuse me. I want to make sure Leanne is still in there. I'm not sure if she left just yet. Let me make sure she's in there. I want to make sure and put some respect on her support. Let me make sure my friend is in there. Leanne Engel, if you're still in there, let me know. Type something in that chat if you can. Let me go ahead and get this prepared. She might have left. I just saw her donation, and I wanted to make sure and show her some love. Said, thank you, Jay, for your including us non-members. It's all good. Thank you, June Kisler. Thank you, thank you. All right, guys, let's go ahead and close out. Let's show our sponsors some love. Let me read Leanne's message real quick. She says, sorry, missed most of the show tonight. Just wanted to show some support. Keep up the great work. And Leanne, you are such an amazing supporter. And I don't know, man. I just cannot thank you enough for continuing to show love from your heart and your budget. It means so much to me, and it means the world to me. So Leanne Engel, if you're listening, thank you, sister, so much. AFC, I love you guys. Y'all have a great day. Y'all need anything, shoot me an email. Peace.
North Authentic Designer has some of the most glamorous and stylish handbags your girl has ever seen. So ladies, if you want to get fly, and fellas, if you want to take care of your lady, please be sure to go to www.norris915.com. www.norris915.com. That's right, www.norris915.com.
Hello, listeners. Come mask up with Keyline Designs, where you reap what we sow. We offer essential handcrafted face masks made with 100% cotton, equipped with a built-in filter and a slot for refillable filters. Our masks have many uses, like riding motorcycles, ATVs, while out in public places, outside exercising, lawn and gardening, and helps prevent the spread of germs. We offer bling, sports logos, monograms, many assorted fabrics and colors. We make child-size masks starting at the age of 2. Come join us today for the launch of our new website at keylinedesigns.com. Please be sure to like and follow our page on Facebook. Our links can be found in the description box of this video. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you again, Keyline Designs, and also thank you to Nora's 915